Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Toon review. After a day's break away, we're back with another live, and of course, it is the Newcastle Liverpool match preview. It's a huge game. It's a massive game. As is the next one after that. I don't know if anybody realizes that. We've got two very, very big games coming up, and the first one is this weekend. Where we take on the old muckers from Liverpool, who we owe a little favour, shall we say, after what happened at Anfield. We've got Doug coming on in just a moment, Liverpool fan, and he's a friend of the channel, of course, to give the Liverpool side of things going into this game. Alex, I just wanted to just mention before we do that, I did a video earlier on today. Pablo Dybala mentioned with a release clause of £10.6 million.
Yeah, Pablo Dybala. So he's a very, very good player. I'm not quite sure how that's come about. I'd have to go and have a little more in-depth look at how he's done at Roma, because obviously he was an Inter player for the longest of times and rated one of the top in the world. And then kind of just fell off a cliff a little bit, moved to Roma. It could be interesting.
I'm not sure he's having a good season, to be honest.
Yeah, I will sit on the fence until I've gone and had a look at if he's still how good I think he is in my head. Because I'm not just gonna put his image from 2 years ago in my head, because he might not be that right now. So it's worth having a proper look at. Maybe we can pop in a transfer show. We've had a few interesting things recently in the last week or so.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be plenty of them building up, of course. Sophia says, the winner of tonight's Champions League game between Manchester and Barca was Newcastle. It wasn't a Champions League, Sophia. It was the Europa League, but Europe nonetheless. Look, it'll be, let's just hope it goes to extra time penalties next Thursday night at Old Trafford. That is what we want more than anything. We got a £10 super chat from Geordie Ricard. Cheers, buddy. Can't wait for this game. Hoping for 3 points. It's going to be a hard game. Arturo, thank you for your €20. No comment there, but thank you very much. I wonder if Welsh Jurgen will make an appearance tonight. There's a possibility of anything happening, to be honest. Good evening to everyone. On the subject of Barca, very dodgy stuff going on with them and payments made by them to a referee. Listen, it happens every bloody time. Every time.
I think that's been taken out of context. I didn't actually go and check, but I think it was to do with them paying for an investigation, not paying the referee for the sake of paying the referee. I think it was for something to do with an investigation into like bias and stuff. It wasn't. Yeah, I think you need to go and read the whole thing before, because I think they've made it very clickbaity. It's not just paid referees. There's more to it than that.
I mean, the referee at the Nou Camp was definitely knew the Man United rules. Penalty should have given Barcelona, and Casemiro should have been sent off as well. Yeah,
again, shall it be known, without a doubt. Arturo, thank you for another €50. That's very, very kind, buddy. Just with the simple statement saying, I miss Shelvey. Well, we have missed him, to be honest. In a couple of games, he could have played last week, but never mind. He's gone. He's in the past now, and that's what we just need to focus on what we have, which is very little. Which is why this game's going to be very interesting. But we'll get a Liverpool side of it. Doug, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it. Hope you all are well.
We are. Very much looking forward to the game on Saturday. How's things from a Liverpool side of things? Obviously getting plenty of players back from injury by the looks of things.
Yeah, just at the right time to sort of have a bit of a charge on the top four. Nah, I'm only joking. I think if we're being honest, I think this season, I think everyone expected a bit of a drop off. But maybe not to the extent of what has actually happened. But I think now with players coming back, it's vital that we're getting players back as well. I think Jota's back, Van Dijk is back. I think the only real long-term one I think we've had injured, I think, is Luis Diaz, and I think he's even back in training as well. So we are getting players back at the right time, but this is our hardest game of the season by a long way this weekend.
What about Thiago will be missing, obviously. He's for me a fantastic midfielder. Which means will our old friend Jordan Henderson probably start?
I would imagine so. Yes, we started with a midfield of Fabinho, Bajcetic, and Henderson on Monday against Everton, and actually worked pretty well. So yes, I would imagine that Mr. Henderson will probably start on Saturday.
Interesting. Good evening, Danielle. Hope you're well. Danielle in the chat, everybody. Paul Tully says, evening, everyone. Revenge is the word. We owe them. I'm slightly nervous with the way we have played of late, hoping the players will up their games on Saturday, given that 4-1 to Newcastle. Paul, what have you been sniffing, buddy? I'd like a piece of it. Obviously, Doug, we'll look to the previous game at Anfield, and it was, I think it's fair to say, filled with absolute controversy from the word go. You were very critical of Jurgen Klopp after that game. I remember you being on the channel and saying that you weren't too happy with his behaviour. More to the point, I mean, we still should have obviously had a second goal. VAR dumped us in the crap again, and then the mysterious injury time, which we still haven't forgotten about. So, do you think that's going to make it harder for Liverpool? No, they're walking into a bit of a cauldron on Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of tense to this game. I think there's a little bit of an edge with what happened at Anfield, but I still say back that day, you guys should have easily beat us that day. You were fantastic that day, and Isaac should have obviously had the second goal as well. Yeah, I wasn't happy with Klopp at that time, and I think as well, I think he has made a lot of mistakes. I think he is too stubborn towards sort of certain players. I think he's too loyal to a lot of the other players as well. Like Gomez, he seems to be. Watch out for Gomez. Honestly, I am very surprised he still plays centre back. He should be right back. But he still plays centre back and gives me absolute butterflies every time he plays. But actually, on Monday, he actually had a pretty good game. Matip has kind of fallen. The thing is, as well, I think some players have kind of declined this season. I think Fabinho is definitely one of them. He had a good game against Everton, but it's whether or not he can, keep it up consistently.
He should have been suspended. He shouldn't have even been allowed to play that anyway because of his red card tackle from a few weeks ago.
Oh, it's ridiculous challenge.
Liverpool with the one red card all season, may I add. One red card all season you've had, which is a travesty. It's a joke.
Alex has obviously been on the raw meat again. Alex, are you looking forward to hopefully seeing Maxi go against Trent?
No, not really. I'll say what I've said all season. It's not built for Maxi to flourish on that left side. There's no balance. Doesn't work with Burn. I love Maxi. I think he's one of the most talented players in the league in terms of just pure raw dribbling skill and take-ons. But it doesn't work with the unbalanced system with Burn. So I love Maxi, but it doesn't work. I'm just going to say I don't want Maxi to play until he balances the side. I'm going to stick by my guns and say that. It doesn't mean he won't come up with a moment of magic because he helped produce the goal last week. So he can still do something. If you give him an inch, it'll take a mile, but in a positive sense.
Well, Alan's saying here, I was reading that Howe might change his formation to a 4-4-2.
Well, I think a lot depends on Wilson. I mean, what did he do? He switched to Longstaff, Joe Linton double pivot, didn't he? For a bit of, he had to. He went to a 4-2-3-1 with Gordon behind the striker. So whether he would want to do something similar with Joe Linton and Sean again in the middle, and then somebody with Isak, whether it's Wilson and Isak, or whether he'd want to try something fancy like Gordon and Isak, have a little speedster running around Isak, whether that would be Maxi or Gordon. It's who knows? Who knows? He might change it. He might be forced into the change because of Willock. So,
Lawrence has got my Wembley ticket today. Just a heads up to anyone wanting to post the ticket on social media, cover the QR codes in case someone wants to scan it. It's common sense, really, isn't it? Just don't be an idiot. Billy, 4-4-2, would that excite you? Do you think it's something that maybe Eddie Howe is planning on maybe changing the formation just to maybe surprise Liverpool?
I mean, if you're going to do it, Liverpool's the side to do it against because they've got the kind of lack legs in the middle of the park, don't they? So, I mean, if you're ever going to do it, that's the time to do it. I think he'll go the same as he did at the end of last week. Like Alex just mentioned, the 4-2-3-1. I think that's
4-2-3-1. Yeah,
he's struggling for bodies, isn't he? I mean, Wilson's not assured to be fit, so he could have Gordon in the 10 like he did last week and try it that way. But that's the only way I can see it's going on Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm getting wrong off Sophia here. You know what I meant. I do apologise. Darren says, evening all, looking forward to Saturday night, expecting the lads to raise their game from last weekend. Plus the way Liverpool play, it should suit us as they won't sit back.
I don't know. They've changed the style a little bit because they can't play the way they used to. I mean, are they, where's my long balls thing? Aren't they first for long balls? They are first in the league for accurate long balls per match. And they're very high up for possession as well. They've changed somewhat. I mean, we play not so much now because we've got a lot of injuries, but we have been playing the same way Liverpool played like 4 years ago. And Liverpool obviously haven't refreshed adequately and are having to change the style somewhat. The first in the league for long balls is not something you would imagine Liverpool to be, but they've got a lot of pace up front on the counter attack. So
yeah, I mean, Doug, if Liverpool were to lose this on Saturday, I know that you've just come off a win over Everton, but let's face it, we hate them. I mean, if Jurgen loses this game, is he really under pressure? Do you think? Or does he have enough in the bank from what he's done already just to give him that, a bad season, a one-off?
I think if we lose on Saturday, I don't think he's under pressure as much, but I do think that it will probably end our hopes for top four. Because I look at how like Newcastle have been playing, and I look at like how defensively you guys are set up as well. Like you've got the best defense in the league. Like Botman has been fantastic for you guys. Nick Pope has been fantastic. So I'm expecting a really, really difficult game, and I think if we do lose, then I think we've got Real Madrid on the Tuesday, and then I think we're at Palace on the Monday, and then I think after that I think it's Manchester United on the Sunday. So still got some big games coming up as well. But someone actually said to me that we win our games in hand, apparently we're only, I think, 6 points off top four. So,
bugger.
Well, 6 points off us because we are top four at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. Just to repeat that again, Doug, we are top four, my man. And we will not be relinquishing that for the rest of the season. Absolutely not. So forget about Champions League, sunshine.
It is weird that you guys are not expecting top four anymore when, as you've just said, you play your game in hand and you win it, you're 6 points off top four, which is 2 matches. There's a lot of matches to go. So
it ain't really been that easy for Liverpool this season.
No, not necessarily.
Games they've expected to win, they haven't. I mean, we can't say much of the last few games we've played, to be honest.
February could be, if they win a bunch of games in February, all of a sudden they're in top four and they've beaten Real Madrid. Or if they have a shock in February, it could be they are still mid-table and they're out the Champions League. It could be February is like a super important, the next couple of weeks anyway is crazy important for Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, they are for Newcastle in a way. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, have you seen Simon Jordan's comments, guys? Seems we are only big in Newcastle and 20 years behind the top six. Well, if we're 20 years behind the top six, why are we in the top four as we speak?
He's on about branding. He was on about
this
branding.
Man is a pure bellend, honestly.
Well, he's not wrong. We're not in the top sort of 10 for branding in the world. We're nowhere near that. So it's annoying. I don't like saying that, but we were back in the day. We were very up there, in terms of the value of the club. money we'd got and the brand value, but that's changed. But we'll get back. We'll claw it back in 5 years easily.
But it is a bit hypocritical to say that we're only big in Newcastle when he talks about us every day of the week.
Yeah, he made a true statement about the branding and then put a few digs on top of it just to make it hurt. He didn't need to do that, but it's radio, so
it's called rent free.
Yeah.
How about this, Billy? Darren says would have been brilliant if Kevin Keegan was a special guest just a few days after his birthday. Legend of both clubs, and it would be great to see him on the pitch sometime soon. That would be incredible, wouldn't it?
I don't think I could contain myself if Kevin Keegan appeared on the screen with us now.
Well, no, but I think he means at the game, Billy, not on Toon Review.
Oh, at the game, yeah, that'd be great.
Either or.
Well, he's welcome on here anytime he wants, quite frankly, but I don't think he does podcasts, does he? So, yeah. Good evening to Devon. Toon Dave says, evening, chaps. Hope everyone's well. Looking forward to smashing Pool at the weekend and shutting Jurgen's face up. I think that is probably one of the big reasons we are wanting to win this game, actually, Doug, is because we just want to see Jurgen shut up. After his behaviour on the sidelines, the way he acted and well, it's not just that game, is it? I mean, he's conducted himself in a crazy way this season.
The Wolves game,
yes,
where he said one of them didn't count.
He has not been himself as the safest thing to say. I mean, you're obviously speaking about Kevin Keegan. I met one of my heroes the other night, Sir Kenny Dalglish, obviously, a big part of obviously Liverpool and Newcastle as well. But Jurgen this season has made a lot of mistakes, and I think it's his stubbornness to not sort of strengthen the midfield, because we badly needed a midfield, because our midfield is as stale as a loaf of bread right now. So I think if you guys have a very good midfield on Saturday, I think you win the midfield battle. I've got to be honest.
Interesting. I mean, Billy, that's the area that you think we can get one over them, don't you?
Yeah, with the legs. I think we've got obviously more legs than Liverpool have in midfield. Klopp spent his season buying bloody forwards and defense, and it's midfielders he needed, and I don't understand why he never bought one or two of them. It's ridiculous, really.
Just a shame Bruno's suspended. I think if we had Bruno, it'd be good night Vienna. But I think the lack of Bruno makes it more of a, it's more difficult to say who's going to win the midfield. Yeah,
I think really how I think this game is going to go is it's going to be end to end. I think we've got two very attacking sides, and Eddie Howe, I seen somebody make a comment earlier on saying that Eddie Howe might just play a bit more reserved, like we did at Arsenal, sort of defence. He won't do that at St James's Park. I highly doubt he would, because Arsenal different to Liverpool. You sit back against Liverpool, they know how to play around you. They know how to punish you. Doug, where do you think Liverpool could win this game?
Good question. To be honest, Gakpo looked a bit all right the other night. He had a bit
of his first goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he got his first goal. Looks a bit of he showed a bit of turn of pace as well the other night as well. For me, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but Trent Alexander-Arnold's deliveries are very, very good. And we are one of the top sort of scorers from set pieces. So maybe set pieces might come into effect for that on Saturday. But I think if we play like match up with both teams, I actually do think that you guys could get the better of us, because of our lack of legs in midfield, and you're very good defensively as well. Our away record is absolutely shambolic, and I'll say that now. I can't remember. I can't even remember our last away win, to be honest with you. It's been a while. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Danielle says, welcome, Doug. Always a humble guest, very polite and up for healthy debate. Will be difficult to take 3 points off you on Saturday night, mate. I go 2-1 to us. Well, we're worried about our left back situation at the minute and how tired Dan Burn's been looking lately. I know Salah hasn't been fantastic this season, but going against Dan Burn, do you fancy that side of the pitch where you could maybe get round us?
Yeah, Salah's an interesting one. He's not really had the sort of the best of this season. He's actually been asked to sort of play a different sort of role. He's like more of a touchline winner. So he's like getting the ball in like the touchline, and then he's like driving at players. He didn't used to do that. He used to be like basically gets the ball in the wing and then drives at people. But this time he's sort of cutting back and then sort of passing into midfield to sort of cross it into the box. He has changed a wee bit this season, Salah. I think people kind of know how to play against him now. I think if you double up on Salah, I think you get a lot of joy. So I think if Newcastle double up on Salah, I think that might be a bit of a joy on Saturday.
So that begs to ask the question: if we are going to double up on Salah, that means that it probably won't be Maxi.
Well, we can't really do that now. I mean, we did that we nullified Arsenal very well and Saka in the exact same way that we're just describing about Salah. So Saka versus Salah, but we've not got the personnel available to play that system. Willock's out. We can't do what we did against Arsenal because we've not got the players available. So it's not as straightforward as that, unfortunately. And Trippier's equally as slow on that. Well, maybe he's a little bit quicker than Dan Burn, but both fullbacks are partial to getting caught out in a bit of space. So I'm quite terrified about both fullbacks, to be fair. The way they broke against Everton, they could theoretically do that against us, no problem, if we've not got the right players. And if both of our midfielders, who are used to be in high eights, are suddenly a double pivot, they're used to playing 10 yards further up week in, week out. So I'm a little bit concerned about the counters.
Alex, would you please like to just enlighten our viewers and listeners on the podcast what you mean when you say double pivot? Because you've said double pivot now for the last 4 shows, and somebody there is a couple of comments came in on YouTube saying, what does Alex mean by the double pivot?
Well, it's just a partnership in midfield where they mirror each other's movements. It's a little bit more defensive in shape. Whereas we've been playing obviously 3 in midfield, where we will have a 6, i.e. Bruno as a linchpin, and then two in front who are a little bit more versatile. Whereas our midfield's not going to be as versatile. Joe Linton and Longstaff are not going to be able to go on walkabouts and wander off quite so much if they've got to be disciplined in a 2-man midfield, as well as then also somebody's got to provide wide cover additionally in case one of the, let's say there's a little dink over Trippier's head and Miggy's caught upfield. Whoever is our right-sided midfielder is going to have to come across and cover, or Cher's going to have to leave his position and it's. And considering Longstaff and Joe Linton are used to playing a little bit further up, still a midfielder, just higher up. It's going to be. And again, it depends on what shape he goes for. But I think all of us have stated either a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1. So I think it's going to be 2 in midfield no matter what, unless he throws a curveball and starts Anderson, and we go back to our normal shape, which is also a possibility. But
Eddie Howe, curveball? Surely not, Alex. Samantha says, let's see if the Listerine donkey goes mad in his technical area. The Listerine donkey, that's brilliant. Oh, class. Devon says, our defence is far better than Liverpool's this season. This game gives us a chance to really go at them and show what we're made of. Plus goals, we need goals desperately. Chat Sports says Salah against Dan Burn will be interesting. Peter says, I love Maxi, but just look at his best ever stats in the league. Is it good enough? You decide.
Do you mean goals, or do you mean you can't just say stats?
Well, he said stats, Alex. I mean, I don't know.
His
stats
goal contributions is 10, which is not that bad.
Well, it's not, but Miggy's going to beat him this season, isn't he? Mitch says, I'm sick of seeing Liverpool fans talking about the back in form. You don't gain form for 1 win against a relegated side. I hope we smash them. Well, I don't think Doug said that, to be honest, Mitch, but I understand there is a lot of people on social media, a bit like the Man United. I mean, Man United are playing well at the minute. There's no doubt about that, but until they come up against us next week and we smash them and all. Confidence is high. Baz Down Under says, Eddie is conservative. Don't expect any new formation. Well, he might have to, Baz, simply because he may be forced into it because of the injuries, Billy.
This is it. I mean, at the end of when Willock went off halfway through the first half last week, he was forced into it then. And with Willock still being out, he could easily start that way, I think. I think it's 90% certain he's going to. The 4-2-3-1.
Wow. I mean, a formation change. It's incredible. Never thought we'd
Forced
see
into
that
it.
for a...
And that's down to the fact we've got no depth
Well,
in
he
the
is,
squad,
yeah.
which we've been saying all season.
But he will be meticulous in his planning for this game, as he normally is for every single game. He will have watched Liverpool numerous times. He'll have worked out ways to get the better of them. There's no doubt about that. So, whether he does change it or not, I mean, like Alex says, he could throw a curveball in and play Elliot Anderson on the left. You just don't know. Or Elliot Anderson in the midfield, continue the three in there. Danielle says, I think Maxi will come good. Would love him to get on the score sheet on Saturday. I think a goal would absolutely do him the world of good. Darren says, I think if we play the long ball against us, I think we'll be comfortable. Hopefully it will be another cracker either way with 3 points to the Toon. You don't really play long ball though, Liverpool, do they, Doug?
Well, we are top for long balls this season, as Alex said. But yeah, we don't really play long ball usually. But I think this season, with the players that we've had out injured, I think we've had to sort of go long ball. I think we've had to sort of adjust our style of play, especially with Darwin Núñez coming in as well. Yeah, but watch out for Darwin Núñez. Doesn't score a lot of goals, but he is a very, very hard worker. And he will be a constant menace for Trippier, because I think what we'll probably do is probably play Darwin Núñez on the left, probably Gakpo through the middle, and Salah on the right. He has sort of tended to have sort of Darwin Núñez out on the left a couple of times this season.
Would he be out of the realms of possibility he throws Jota back in? Because I know he was on the bench on Monday, wasn't he?
It's not beyond the realms of impossibility. I would imagine he's probably keeping Jota for Real Madrid. That's my thinking. I think he'll probably keep Jota for Real Madrid. He might make a few changes on Saturday, considering that Real Madrid game is coming up. So you maybe see
Real Madrid game. Is it on Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Firmino's fit too, isn't he, Doug?
Yeah, he was back on the bench.
I mean, Firmino's been a nemesis of ours. He's destroyed us 2 or 3 times, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him play.
Yeah, he has. Roger says, Doug, can Mad Dog get under Klopp's skin? Of course, talking about Mad Dog Jason Tyndall, Eddie's assistant. Do you think there's a bit of bad blood between the two benches after what happened? Because of course things were thrown, weren't they?
Yeah, things were thrown. I think as well, Pep Linders does like to get under a lot of people's skins as well. It's not just Klopp, it's Linders as well. I think Linders is, a lot of Liverpool fans are a little bit, how to put it, not happy with the assistant, because he seems to have too much with a way of words, is what I'd like to say. Has a little bit too much to say to Klopp. Has a bit too much to say, I think, about transfer targets as well. So yeah, I do think there is a bit of bad blood there, and it's going to be a very, very intriguing battle on the touchline on Saturday.
It is very interesting. I mean, there's a couple of mentions there, Alex, about opinions on starting Anderson at number 8. If he was to do that, Alex, would you see that as a bigger risk than maybe moving to a different formation?
I think it's equally risky, because if you do that, it would theoretically be... I mean, he normally starts Longstaff in the 6. In the last couple of games, it's after 20 minutes, Joe Linton drops in and they swap, which is unexpected because they never usually did that like previously. Because obviously Longstaff played in the 6 the last time we played against Liverpool. But any way you spin it requires somebody to be played slightly out of position, because Anderson's always been played as a left-sided 8 whenever he's played in midfield, which would mean Joe Linton would go onto the right side, which I don't think he's ever played right-sided 8, because he's always been because he was babysitting Maxi on that left side, even last season. And he always does left-sided defensive cover. So whichever way we rotate this, somebody's going to be in the wrong place. Joe Linton in the 6 or Longstaff in the 6, or somebody's going to be in the wrong place, whichever way we do it, or it's 2 in midfield. So either way, it's a bit of a mishmash midfield, which benefits Liverpool. We're going to have to just hope it works.
Interesting. And thank you for your £2 super chat. He says, love you guys. Paul, show is ya derg, man. Well, thank you for saying the show is a derg.
Can I just throw one thing in as well? A couple of people have mentioned putting Gordon in midfield. I don't think he'd do that.
No.
I don't think he'd play him as an 8. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Possibility.
Well, it is. I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but one thing
is
he
literally go out with one lineup and change it 3 or 4 times in the game. It depends how it's going, I guess.
Well, if there's one man that would want to score in that game, it'd be Gordon.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he will, being an Evertonian, wouldn't he? Conrad says Vlahovic scored again in the Champions League. Wish we tempted him away from Juve. Scott Robson says, by the way, great talking with KK on Sunday. Yeah, I saw bits of it. I also saw when Terry Mack surprised him on the stage as well, which was a lovely touch as well, seeing them two hugging when he came on. Shamrock says, I watched the Keegan Radio podcast he'd done a year ago. Well, we'll put the feelers out. Who knows? Tom says, Klopp's not being himself. Does he need a Snickers? The Clone Lad says, Dalglish destroyed Newcastle. Shocking manager for us. Jenny says, Klopp is blinded by his own ego. Interesting. JB says, we were a big growing brand before the Fat Cockney bar steward arrived. Come June, our commercial brand will be returning. That's a good point, actually. We were quite, it was all down to that absolute tool bag, Mike Ashley. Danielle says, War Flags are planning a tribute to Sir Bobby on what would have been his 90th birthday. I, for one, shall raise a glass to the gaffer. Sadly missed always. Absolutely, Danielle. Absolutely. Sophia says, Klopp is so unprofessional with journalists too. He does seem to be a little bit rattled by the journals as well. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago, Doug, that he had another run-in with one of them. Just a simple question, but he'd obviously had previous with this reporter, and it got a little nasty.
Yeah, apparently it was something about what James Pearce wrote about, I think, what's going on behind the scenes as well. But apparently it turned out that James Pearce hadn't actually written it. It was Melissa Reddy, another Liverpool sort of based journalist. I think it's on Sky Sports now. But yeah, Klopp, he's not himself. He hasn't been himself, I don't think, since his mother died. And that's actually going back to 2021. I don't think he has been himself since then. I think he's kind of trying to act like a bit like Mourinho did in the sort of the later days for Mourinho. I don't like what's been happening this season, but let's be honest, this season solely is not all on FSG. Klopp has a lot of the bait to take because not strengthening that midfield is going to come and cost us, I think. But so far it hasn't. But I think if we're being honest, if we don't get Europe, I would actually not want to be in the Europa League. I certainly wouldn't want to be in the the Conference League. I would just want a season out of Europe just to have that rebuild that we badly need.
Interesting.
It's just the difference in mentality between the big six and everybody else. To have the opportunity to even play in the Conference League for us would be fantastic. The West Ham fans are enjoying it, and you seem like a lovely guy, Doug, but I hate that mentality. I hate it. That they just don't want to get into Europe. I think it's ridiculous. Play the kids, play the academy. It's a joke. It's so special and such a privilege to be in a European competition. You've got to understand there are 90 odd clubs in the football pyramid, and what some of these fans would kill to do to see their team anywhere near a European competition. I just feel like you've got to cherish it, and it's just unfair.
It wasn't too long ago that we had an owner that wanted to pull out of Europe, even though we qualified for it. So.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I will always, no matter what competition it is, I'll always treat it seriously.
Yeah, but obviously, I can see Doug's point as well for a rebuild. But it's
play the
for us.
Who cares?
For us, it's very different, isn't it? It's different worlds at the minute, but it's not going to be like that for very long. Lawrence says Villa was Liverpool's last away win on Boxing Day. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
You could argue,
Christ.
by the way, that we're going to be in that position next season because we're not going to be able to strengthen enough to play all the competitions we're potentially going to be in. If we qualify for a minimum of a Conference League spot for next year, we're losing 5 odd players on contract expiries. We've got to keep players like Murphy and stuff because their contract lengths are very long. So we're not going to be able to strengthen sufficiently to attack FA Cup, Carabao Cup, League, and potentially a Conference League, Europa League spot, or even a Champions League spot. Wherever we end up finishing, we can't build a squad with enough depth to actually compete competitively in 4 of those competitions. But does that mean Newcastle fans don't want to qualify for a European competition? Of course not. We'd love to. It's just going to be really tough.
Julie J says, I suggested the Trippier left-back option earlier in the week. Still think it's viable, or bring in Matty Target. I don't think Target's going to be fit, Julia. I think Matty Target is actually going to probably be back on the bench for the Cup Final. But they won't put him straight in. No way. Tony Tinebridge says, calls himself Stato and doesn't even know what a double pivot is. Oh,
He explained it, Tony Tinebridge. He explained it perfectly.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just saying things now.
Let's see what Google says now.
I'm just enjoying Alex being in one of those moods where he just wants to kill. He wants to eat human flesh and things like that. Kate says Nunez is a worry. He has bags of pace and strength if we push up too far. Has he still got the support of the fans, Doug?
Yeah, absolutely. He's starting to be a bit of a fan's favourite, even though he hasn't sort of got the goals. He's always a very, very hard worker, and you know that the intelligence to play in Salah the other night when he could have easily gone for goal, but he actually sort of played it to Salah. And yeah, Mr. Pickford, who you guys like to criticise, made an absolute howler because I think I think what happened was basically Nunez passed it to Salah, and had Salah missed it, Gakpo was getting it. I think Pickford was too concerned about Gakpo. I think that's what was happening. But no, for me, Darwin Nunez is definitely a fan's favourite, and he is getting better game after game as well.
Yeah, interesting. James Ellison says, oh, by the way, Alex just sent me what a double pivot is, and it's exactly as how he described it. So
from the coach's voice.
Tony must have misheard him because he thought Alex had said that 2-8 ahead of a 6 is a double pivot. It's not. That's what he said.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
No, he didn't say that. He said 2 6s beyond an 8.
Yeah. Or 10. James Ellison says, Alex, what are you talking about? Really, bro, you are blinking with Maxi.
What did I say that doesn't make sense?
Well, probably.
I said I would bench him in this system.
Yeah.
What? Is that not what you guys want me to say? What do you want from me? I can't win if I say I want him to play or not play. Oh dear.
He's always going to cause this disruption. Is Maxi? It just split right down the middle.
I'm trying to think what I was controversial with. He is one of the most technical dribblers in the league. I think that's what he's calling you out for. Those comments. Go and look at the stats from like his last 5 seasons. He is the best dribbler in the Premier League.
Well, I mean, listen, don't take my head off. It's only James's comment, man. I'm just the host.
He's in the 99th percentile for dribbles and has been for a long, long time.
He is.
You know, the problem has been the other parts of his game.
I think this game suits Maxi. I think Liverpool play very similar to what Man City did with how Walker played it, step up into the midfield, and we saw also what Max did to Walker that day.
Yeah,
I don't think Trent's half as good as Walker's as a defender.
No, not at all.
I think it's tailor-made for Maxi.
Trent does that thing where he runs back into his own box and never checks over his left shoulder. He's like, no, the wing doesn't exist. I'm just going to run into my box. And there's always a player will come around the back of him, and it will score from a back post header, or it will come across goal. And Trent just seems to, that peripheral vision on his left side just doesn't exist for whatever reason. Maybe he needs to have his eyes tested. I'm not sure.
And he doesn't like playing against a pacey wee winger as well. So, yeah, I think if you put Maxi on that left-hand side, he'll be an absolute nightmare for Trent.
Interesting. Devon says things were thrown from Liverpool's bench at Anfield. Devon, I think you find we were first to throw. and then we got something thrown back at us. But we'll keep that on the hush, Devon. James says, on current form, I can see our first defeat at home, but I'm praying it's not the case. Nothing would please me more to stuff Liverpool. I just don't see it. Are you worried, Billy, at all that we could be beaten in this game, given our run of form?
Well, this season, my head and my heart have aligned every week on what I thought the score was going to be. Mm-hmm. This game, my head and heart don't agree with each other.
Interesting. Well, we'll find out at the end. Anderson is woefully naive defensively. He's much more a wide attacker or number 10, says JB. Abs prefer 4-3-3, but think it has to be 4-2-3-1 given the injuries. Ryan Foster says, all I have to say about Saturday is Newcastle are going to learn how to attack, and Eddie is going to see new ideas, because if Firmino plays, expect to see layoffs to Salah. Well, we do know how to attack. We've been doing it quite well this season, apart from this little blip we're in. Paul Tully says, I think Eddie starts Gordon. Willock being injured makes that decision easier, but Isak and Wilson is what I'd like to see, but not sure he'll do that. Look, I don't know. I don't think you play Isak and Wilson. I think it'd be too risky for him, to be honest. Maxi has 4.42 successful take-ons in the league per 90, which is the 99th percentile. Alex, let it go. Let it go. You've proved your point.
Never.
God. Sophia says, I love a bit of bad blood, me. It keeps things interesting. Ryan says, so Van Dijk is back, Fabinho is back, Henderson is back, Firmino and Jota plus Diaz. Doesn't that mean they're back to full strength?
Realistically, yeah, we are.
Yeah, but I'd say you're not full strength without Thiago. I think he's just a brilliant player.
It's Canate for that as well.
Canate's out, isn't he?
Canate's out, yeah. Thiago is out. Arthur is out. Well, we won't wait. Arthur was a panic buy in the summer and has played 12 minutes against Napoli, and we haven't seen him ever since. So
I've got the list up. So Thiago is out until apparently mid-March. Luis Diaz is also mid-March. Canate is late Feb, so probably too early for this game. Then Artur, who I have not seen in a Liverpool shirt yet, is late Feb as well. I forgot he existed. I'm sure you guys also forgot.
Yeah, hasn't played a lot, has he?
I was trying to forget after that performance in Naples.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lee Kelly says, who's doing the community on the match on Saturday? I take it you mean the commentary. That will be Billy Bob, as I'll be at the game. So Billy will be your commentator. Mark says, hey, Paul, you should try and get Warren Barton or Gavin Peacock as guests. Warren's been on the channel before. We did a show with him last year. I'm sure, we follow each other on Twitter, so I'll get back in touch with Warren, because it'd be interesting to get his sort of mid-season point of view and how he thinks it's going. Gavin Peacock, I'm not so sure, given some of his latest comments on Twitter. I think we'll stay slightly wide of that. The last thing we want is controversy. Mark says, evening, gents, been trying to get tickets for ages for the games. I know it's not easy, mate. Let's have a look. Anthony, yeah. I mentioned that on my video yesterday, Alex. Anthony Taylor refereeing. Yeah.
I can never remember who they are. Is he good? Forgotten.
The Mancunian one was Manchester Man United.
Oh, is that? Yeah. I mean, you've got to be specific. There's a few of them, to be fair.
There is, yeah.
Let's be honest, they're just as bad as each other, the referees. They're just as bad as each other.
Well, listen, I mean, Liverpool, we've had it difficult with referees at Anfield. You know, that Doyle of Mike Dean a couple of seasons ago, Doug. I mean, how can we forget that? Yeah. Head injury. It's played on. Oh, man. What an arsehole he was. Joe Maguire says, my missus isn't home tonight. Neither is my son. The missus goes, what are you going to do? I say, have a shower, get comfy, and chuck on the Toon review. Hope you're all okay. Come on, the Mags. Alex has disappeared. I think he's obviously forgot to switch his camera off. We'll just take him out for a while. I think he's going to let the hound out.
Back in.
What? Oh, he's back.
Back in.
Yeah, I think we'll go back to the. There you go.
Oh, the dog wanted to go out.
I told you, didn't I? Would-be Farmer says, when was Newcastle's last win in the Premier League? It'll be Leicester, was it?
Last
Premier
away
League,
win in
I
the
think so.
Premier League.
I'm pretty sure it was Leicester.
Boxing Day. Same day. Strange enough.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I
mean, yeah.
I think it was Newcastle. I think the Leicester. I think.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we've beaten Southampton in the cup and stuff, but
Yeah,
this is
Boxing
Premier League.
Day.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's the same.
Technically, we won away in the Carabao.
Carabao,
Cup.
yeah. He asked Premier League, so yeah. Ball Geordie says, evening Toon review, don't panic. Oh, wait, sorry, I'd forgotten that Liverpool will be awarded as much time as they need to score before the final whistle. Ball Geordie has not let it go either. Julie J says, shame about Target. He'd give us balance on that left-hand side. Which is what we haven't had for quite some time. Danielle simply says, raw meat Thursdays. Indeed.
Well,
Alex.
Liverpool love a ref as well, as much as they complain about it. They've got the least amount of yellow cards in the league. They're 20th out of 20 for yellow cards. They've only had 23. The highest is, well, the second highest is Man U, actually, with 53. So the rhetoric doesn't quite suit that. And they've only had one red card all season and the least amount of yellow cards.
Yeah, Man U should have had 1,053.
That's true. That is also true.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, Wembley's going to need to re-turf the ground after the cup final, because the amount of times that Bruno Fernandes will be going down and those teeth of his ploughing the field, it will need relaying. Toon Gamer says Nunez reminds me of Kaut for Liverpool.
Well, faster, but yeah.
Yeah, the kind of Kaut player. Yeah.
He just driving runs all the time. I mean, we looked at Nunez quite a few times on this channel before he went to Liverpool.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
In the January, he was still a reasonable price, so we were linked with him. We had a look at him, and then he decided to go and score another 20-odd goals before the season ended, and then he was well out of our price range. So, and then he went to you guys. But he was at one point we were looking at him, and then I think this was even before he went. He played against you guys in the Champions League. And then as soon as he put in that performance at Anfield, I think it was done then. It was done.
Moggy says Joe Linton brace in coming against Liverpool with a maxi goal. We shall see. Alex, you are supposed to drop ASM completely, says KT.
Just not even on the bench. All right, fine. We'll put Matt Ritchie on, who is much better, obviously.
Doug, somebody's claiming that you look like former Coronation Street star Adam Rickett.
I don't know who that is, but thank you very much.
He certainly doesn't. I think Alan's got the wrong glasses on the night. Wow. Michael says, I'm not even reading that out, Michael. It's ridiculous. Danielle says, no one is allowed an opinion on Maxi. I learned that the hard way. Yeah, but Alex will continue to back him until he's blue in the face. James says, I think you're great, Alex, so don't want to upset you. I will just agree to disagree, says James. There you go.
Please agree with me. I'm happy to be disagreed with. Just provide some evidence and then we can make it interesting. Makes for a better show. And, I'd rather not argue. I'd rather we put facts at each other so then we can create a cool argument. That's fine. That's the whole point in discussing this.
A cool argument. All right, Fonzie. Jesus. Leonardo says, is Billy on a 56k modem today? Well, you'd think it, wouldn't you? I think, Billy, you need a word with your broadband supplier. Like, it's...
It looks a lot in here. Or is it bad on the...
Well, Billy, you froze about 29 times.
Have I?
Yeah. It really does look like you're on John Sinclair's old broadband, mate. I would get on the phone to them and play hell. Ab says, we've dominated most games this season. It will be interesting if we can do that to Liverpool at home. Their counter-attack worries me. Yeah, they are good on the counter attack. But going back to Nunes, Doug, do you think you've overpaid?
Yes, I think is the safest thing to say. Look, obviously Benfica wanted, I think it was something in the round of I think 68 million. And then obviously that would obviously add on. Yeah, I think we have overpaid. I don't think Nunes was worth the money we bought. But I think as well that there's some players that have gone for ridiculous amount of money before, like basically Enzo Fernandez, for example. Nobody in this day is worth £105 million. As well.
Seen Joe Linton.
Well, to be honest, I have to say Joe Linton is one of the most improved players I've seen this season, and probably last season as well. Like
he's also not for sale.
No, I know.
He has been linked with Liverpool.
Yeah, Clipperty's been mentioning them a few times, Doug. So you can pass that on to the old Roger Rabbit Teeth there to naff off away from Joe Linton. He's going nowhere. Ryan says Saturday night will come down to players' mentality, but in the end, it's quality, and we are about 4 years. It's the commercial side that will hold us back, and that Man United takeover needs stopping. Well, it's not going to be. What do you think of the takeover, Doug, at Man United? This Qatari thing, considering, when it got mentioned for us, of course, all the goody two shoes were popping out the from under the rocks and sports washing, etc., human rights. Nothing has been said about that during this process at the moment.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people deleting tweets now saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of being state-owned," and then basically some people say, "Oh, oil money." I had to be honest, I don't think it's going to be a quick takeover for Manchester United. Did it take you like 18 months to get the?
Oh yeah, we had court cases and everything, mate. It wasn't a straightforward takeover.
No, I think I think it could be a bit of a while before Manchester United get a takeover. But yeah, I don't know what to make of it. To be honest, and the thing is, as I said, there is a lot of people who are on Twitter and actually are totally against being state owned. Yeah. And now look what's going to happen. Potentially, Qatar are going to take over Manchester United. So. And apparently, I've been told that it's not the same people who own PSG. Apparently, it's two different people. So, I only heard about it today. So, it doesn't surprise me anyway.
I like the way that this word apparently comes into a lot of Man United things. It's ridiculous. Anyway, just to let you know, guys, that Susan has been designing again, and. She's trying to sort of design different things for different hosts on the show. She has come up with a possible T-shirt for Alex, which may or may not go on sale in the future. We will have to wait and see. This is it. I think that's superb. I actually, and we know that Stato has a lot of fans on the channel, so they might get their chance to actually have their own Stats T-shirt in homage to the stat man, Alex. So they may let us know in the chat if you'd be interested in them, because obviously we have to gauge what interest would be before we actually start. But Susan is planning on doing them for the hosts. God knows what she's going to come up with for me and you, Billy. I dread to think. But never mind. But anyway, the T-shirts are still on sale, selling really well. Of course, modeled by John Sinclair's brother, living the dream. And of course, the Wembley song on the back. The mugs are also available. By the way, whoever's ordered mugs recently for those, they are now out. We've shipped them. We're just waiting for the shirts coming in to ship out to everybody else. Yeah, so they're going well. And this is where you can find the rest of the merchandise.
So let's get down to business.
I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move.
So there you go. The toonreview.co.uk is the place to go for all your merch and, of course, the Wembley stuff. And maybe one day we'll have Alex's T-shirt on there as well. Doug, before you head off, matey, what's going to be your prediction for Saturday then?
Well, as I said earlier in the show, our away record is absolutely dreadful. I'm going to be realistic. I think you guys beat us 2-1.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. Well, there is a very unconfident Liverpool fan because of their away form. But we will see, Doug. Listen, been a pleasure having you on, mate. I know we kept you around about 25 more minutes longer than I said, but it's always a pleasure having you on, matey, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you very much, and good luck next weekend as well. I really hope you beat those Mancs. It would be lovely to see you win a trophy.
Fingers crossed, buddy. Take care. Speak soon, bud.
Cheers, Doug.
Speak soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night. Great lad is Doug, and great to have him on tonight talking about Liverpool. But I'm sorry that we didn't offer him a chicken and a can of Coke. But
Or show him these.
Anyway. Sorry?
Or show him these.
Oh, no. Jurgen's with us. Oh, good God. He'll be singing the Welsh national anthem for us tonight, I bet. Fahim, he says, to be honest, I watched this show only for Alex. Well, there you go.
Thank you. That's one T-shirt sold.
His explanation of the game, though I love all you guys, but Alex is superb and outstanding. Well, there you go. Jim says Michael Oliver is the best referee, but sadly we won't ever have him. Yeah, he should have said he supported Bishop Auckland or something, shouldn't he? There you go. Ab says Alex without graphics is a bit like Ant without deck. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get that sorted very soon.
Very soon.
Stephen says Clippity for a red card on Saturday. Full touchline meltdown. Julie J doesn't think that Klopp would have the balls to kick off at St James's Park. I think he would.
Probably not. I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit vociferous in there Saturday.
Yeah, he's going to get some stick.
Toasty, considering how it went with Everton in the derby as well, with Robertson trying to be a bit, trying to wind people up.
Yeah,
got Henderson ex Sunderland as well. I think it could get a bit spicy.
Yeah, definitely. Danielle says, I hope the lads don't take any bait on Saturday. No fighting, etc. We don't need a red card before Wembley, especially with Joe. I worry sometimes about his red mist. Do you think Howell will have a word with him, Billy, before the game, just to make sure he understands? Because obviously it doesn't matter if he gets booked. Well, it does matter, really, because he'll miss the Wolves and Man City game. But, if we're talking about the cup final, he'd have to get a red in order to miss that. But do you think Eddie will have a word with him?
I assume so. I mean, it'd be ridiculous if we didn't. Keep calm. You know what's coming next week, but the fact of the matter is, they want to concentrate on Sunday's game, winning. So Saturday's game. Sorry.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that Mourinho interview about Mario Balotelli when Balotelli came on at half time and he went, Mario, we have no more strikers on the bench. If someone talks to you, walk away. If the ball, walk away. Red card, 10 seconds. Boom, he's out. Oh my God, it was so good.
Mental. Yeah. JB says Billy is on tortoise fibre broadband. Well, his pictures become clearer. That's certainly one thing that's improved. Bill says, I believe my eyes, Alex. I don't need statistics. ASM is a waste of space. Oh, wow.
I mean, we wouldn't have gotten a point if he hadn't have been on the pitch the other day. Is he a waste of space? Again, fair. If that's your opinion, that's fine. But again, I'll say what I always say: where are the shouts for Fraser and Richie and all these other players eating up wages, not even playing? Why are they not getting any jip from the fan base?
Yeah,
I like all the players, but they're eating wages. At least Maxi's giving us some points. He's scored and assisted. He's giving us points. Fraser and Richie are not giving us any points. They're just eating wages.
Yep. William says, can you confirm Joe only getting a yellow card against Liverpool will not make him ineligible for the cup final? If he gets booked, he still plays the cup final, William. Don't worry. But it means that he's out for the next two Premier League games, which is a problem, considering one of them is at the empty had, where we need him. Ball Geordie says, I think Maxi had his best game for some time last week. He looked hungry, and he did amazing to assist the goal. If fit, he should start and give Miggy a rest and play Gordon on the left, Gordon on the right.
He can't, because we managed to midfield already. So,
yep. Well, he could if he plays Anderson.
Well, he could, yeah.
In midfield. But Julie J says David Beckham's been asked to front the Manchester United takeover bid. Surely not.
Well, he was part of the World Cup thing, wasn't he? So you wouldn't be surprised, would it?
God.
Yeah, he's done that kind of thing before, hasn't he?
Spike Milligan, thanks for your £20 super chat, matey. Really appreciate that. He says the players need to get us revenge for the last meeting. How are the lads and lasses? Indeed. Toon TV says my plan for Saturday is watch the Toon smash the Scousers and whack on Ant and Deck. What a Saturday! Ant and Deck, are they back? What show are they doing?
I think it's just like a Geordie themed evening, isn't it?
Well, if you're going to do that, stick Auf Wiedersehen pet on. Some proper Geordie culture. Julie J says, mine is to watch the game, then watch The Masked Singer that has been recorded while the game's on. So many rock and roll lifestyles in our chat. I mean, I'm the same, to be honest. I mean, I'm going to the game, but when I come back home, me and Susan normally on a Saturday night, we stick on old episodes of Dragon's Den. Gone are the days of nightclubbing and stuff like that. I mean, it's a shame, because, back in the day, I had some moves, lads. I had some moves, but...
What were you drinking? Because you'd never tried a Nuki Brown.
A diesel, mate. Which sent me round the bend, I think. Danielle says, a lot of hypocrites, especially my good friend Miguel Delaney. Still hasn't unblocked me, but I will never forget the big knobhead.
Well, there are a section of fans who are, and well done to whoever this is, but they are tweeting daily to Oliver Holt and Delaney, trying to get them to bite. So keep going, because they deserve it. It's hypocritical. They are paid to be unbiased, neutral journalists, and they're not being it.
Yep. Ab says, why is state-owned worse than some Texan billionaire who is worth more than an entire country? Either argue for every club to be fan-owned or shut up. Well said. Well said.
I think the state-owned thing was just a cover for the fact that the beIN Sports thing, if I'm perfectly honest. If I'm perfectly honest, if beIN Sports hadn't been piloted into Saudi Arabia, there'd have been no argument against it whatsoever.
Yeah. Roger says that's a class T-shirt. Ian says that's great, Susan. Julie J says love the tea. Great work as ever, Susan. God bless, says Ball Geordie. Wow. So there you go. Alan says Stats T-shirt is the Top Gun logo. Watch out, Tiny Tom Cruise will come for you. Where is it that? Let me just have a look at this.
I don't think he watches this show, to be honest.
Well, it's not.
Check our WhatsApp.
I mean, it's not really Top Gun, is it? Yeah, I know. That's where she got it from. I know, but we can slightly adjust it, I guess. But it doesn't say the words Top Gun. It can be just lines on a shirt. You know what I mean? Bollocks to it is what I say.
You're such a maverick. Excuse the pun.
Billy, that's terrible. That is terrible. You should be fired instantly for that.
Out of a plane.
Yeah. George says, George, where's that gone? Does the T-shirt say Tolch to me? The K looks like an H. George, you're old. Your eyesight's going. Bless you. Billy's T-shirt with the fake Klopp teeth. That could be an idea. Ab says, what's wrong with oil anyway? You would be literally shitting in the woods without it. Ian A says, Paul's T-shirt is face after he gets face licked. Caption, it licked me face, Susan. No. Oliver says, does the Toon Stato T-shirt say I love Maxi on the back? Oh, dear me.
Put it on. I don't even care.
Jordy Boy says, my mug's on the way. I got the message today. Going to give it to me, mum. No problem at all. Spot on. Danielle says, Paul should have a giraffe on with you're just a baby, aren't you? Oh, yeah. I'll never live this down. Never live it down. Williams has had my dispatch confirmation for my mug. Are you going to redo them with winners after a week on Sunday? Well, it's funny you should ask that, William, actually, because Susan has already taken care of that. But we're not putting it out there at the minute, obviously. You'll have to wait and see once we win the trophy. Michael Parsons says, facts, Alex. Maxi needs a left back to overlap and help him out.
Isn't that what I also said? I think we're in agreement there. I don't think there's any dispute. This is exactly what I think as well. Completely agree. Which is why I've said I think he should probably sit out until we change the system back to one that kind of suits everyone.
However, it can't be Dan Burton because defenders just let him go because I know 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100 there'll be no cross coming in.
Yep. Everybody's saying what a nice lad Doug is. Yeah, he's an absolute sound as a pound. He's a lovely fella. Colin says, well, I love Billy.
Thank you very much, Colin.
So there you
I
go.
love you too. So we have a dance.
Well, clearly, I don't know what I'm doing on this channel. Danielle says, I love them all.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Again.
Considering I own this channel, but nobody loves me.
You always
I have a
get
problem with that.
It's very.
No, I fucking don't, Alex. Don't you come that crap with me. I get the plaudits. Bull rot is what I'll say to that. The amount of abuse that I take on this channel, week in, week out, my friend. Even though it's me that sits and designs thumbnails, it's me and does the daily news and puts it out there, edits videos, does thumbnails for that, uploads it, spends most of my time sitting in front of a frigging screen. But no.
You sound like my ex-wife.
Oh, God. That's terrifying, Billy, to be honest. Right, let's move on to our predicted lineups. This will be very interesting. Sophia says she's having a girls' night out after the game, so Sunday will be a complete blur. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yes, Paul T. Bruin or dog? Interesting. What's dog?
Newcastle Final.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Incidentally, the Lionesses is absolutely hammering South Korea at minute 3-0. They're playing some absolutely unbelievable stuff.
They're getting better and better as it goes. There's more breaches of the law than City on this channel, says Tony. Let Mr. Cruz sue you and get the PR. Yeah, we'll battle it out live on air. Without a shadow of a doubt.
That might be nearly as bad as the Man United fans are Scientologists.
Well, yes, that's interesting. George says, I'll have no ageism on this show. Thank you. No problem, old timer. Any £6.10 t-shirt, Susan? Oh, I'm sure she's designed a few in the past, to be honest. If we win, the Toon Review mugs will have 3 handles on. Oh, dear. Looking forward to the Madison masterclass on Sunday against Man United when he frustrates Casemiro and Goofy Fernandes and gets them sent off.
He's playing Casemiro, he's banned.
Yes, he is actually. Yeah. Was Billy there when we won the cup in '55?
Hey, cheeky fucker.
Says JB.
Oh, the mere glit in the milkman's eye at that time.
Leonardo says, Susan, go and stroke Paul. We all love him, really. You take that many ways, Leonardo. I would revamp those words a little bit. Sophia says, I love you, Paul. Thank you. The back page to a Sven Botman t-shirt. Well, yeah, they've got some good stuff in there, actually. Samantha says, justice for Paul. Ab says, Paul, you were a good anchor. Yes, that's anchor. Really. Right, Billy, we'll start with you. Predicted lineup for you for the game on Saturday.
Well, unless Eddie Howe's a fall and hurts himself on the head, I don't see how he plays anything but Pope in goal, Trippier right back, Sharon Botman, Byrne, Joe Linton and Longstaff in the double pivot, Tony, double pivot, 2 6s, Maxi out left, Miggy out right, Gordon in the 10, and Isaac up front.
Interesting. Very interesting. Lee says, you're the three legends, lads. Well, thank you very much, Lee. Toon TV, Jack, thank you for your £2 super chat. He says, I love you, Paul. Don't worry, I've got your back. Well, there you go. Thank you, Jack. Ball Geordie says, guys, I think a new series of Biker Grove should be produced and filmed, and you three would play the love children of Jeff. And your comical trials, you reforged the biker and Denton rivalry. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not having a romantic scene with fucking Spuggy, that's for certain.
No, definitely not. What's on the friggin' screen, Paul? Says Louise. What? I don't understand. Does Alex know his mate from Jamaica is getting on in his trial? How is he doing, Alex? Do you know?
I don't. I haven't looked. That's a very good question. I did have a look when the young'uns were playing, and I didn't see him in the squad. So I don't. I'm assuming he's just playing. They're just sort of having a look at him in training. Because I didn't see him in any match day. Because I'm pretty sure trialists can play not reserve fixtures, but youth fixtures. I think, unless the rules have changed. It's a little bit more detailed. I need to go and brush up on that sort of area of the rules. So
Alex will speak to his contact at the Jamaican Observer, and I'm sure they will give him all the information.
I think they're just observing him in training, and they'll make a decision. I haven't seen him play yet. I could be wrong.
Dan says Paul's shirt should just be a toilet with his favourite quote above it. Ian says, Paul, you're the best, mate. Thank you very much, Ian. Mark says, it sounds like jealousy creeping in from Paul. I think they work well together. Hey, there's no jealousy from me. I love these guys. They know that. I'm proud of everything they do for this channel. So there's definitely none of that here. I thought Billy was born in the 50s, says Louise.
Actually, nearly the 70s.
Paul Tully says, Alex does look a lot like Jeff from Biker Grove.
Shave that
I look a lot like many people, to be fair.
Yeah.
Take your chin bit off there, and you would look like him a bit. But you need to be about 30 years older, because he was about 60 when he's Jeff.
I'll be looking very different next week if we win the cup.
Yeah, you'll be blonde.
I'll have to go blonde.
I may have a surprise for the final.
I'm a little bit nervous about that because I may or may not be in a new job next week that requires me not to look stupid. And if I've got to dye my hair blonde, it's going to be real interesting.
I'm afraid, Alex, you can't get out of that one because there's almost 17,500 subscribers on this channel who know exactly what you've said. Just going back to your Billy.
Yeah.
Do you mean for the final or if we win the final? Or when
for the final? For the final.
For the watch along.
For the watch along, I may have a surprise.
Wow. Okay. Well, just on that, I'm hoping that I can actually join you live, Billy, from Wembley for a little period of time.
Brilliant.
Before the match. So I'm just working out how to get to link into the live stream. It should be quite simple, I believe. So hopefully we'll get me and Alex live from Wembley.
What do we do? Just download StreamYard on the phone? Can you do that?
You don't. You just go to StreamYard.com on the mobile website.
Send a link. I'll just send a link out to your Twitter.
Send the link, and it should work. I've got unlimited data, so I should be okay. But I am looking at getting mobile broadband as well because I want to start going live from various particular places as well, which I think will do, which will be really good. Tony Timebridge says Billy's going to get breast implants if we win the final. Is that right, Billy?
Fucking, I've already had them.
Oh God. Steve says Jeff from Biker is a neighbour of mine. Wow. Okay. There you go. Of course, he's called Billy Fane. Indeed. Right, Alex, what's your lineup?
I think it's the same as Billy's, but I can't remember what he said. I think he's going to stick to the formation he swapped to out of desperation. So 4-2-3-1 with Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Byrne as the unchanged back five. And then I think he'll play Joe Linton with Sean as the double pivot. And then Gordon as the 10 in front of that. Maxi and Miggy either side with Isak up top, which I think is what Billy said as well.
Exactly the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a formation he went to, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm going the same as well. I mean, I think he'll play 4-2-3-1. I really do. I don't think he has any other option. I don't think he'll go 4-4-2. I think 4-2-3-1 will suit us better.
I mean, it may look like a 4-4-2 in certain phases anyway.
When we defend it, mate.
Yeah, so it might just be quite flexible anyway, to be fair. It depends how Gordon operates. But the way he was operating the other day was just run about and press anything that's got a pulse and just be a maniac. So I would assume he's going to do that again.
Yeah. John says, Paul, you didn't show your arse, so Alex should not have to dye his hair. A bet is a bet, and you chickened out. John, there's one problem with that, right? Alex dyeing his hair blonde will not get the channel shut down. Me showing my arse live on stream will get the channel shut down.
Or you can compromise and dye your arse blonde.
Is that what anal bleaching is?
I wouldn't know, and I don't want to know, quite frankly. Gross. I feel violated all of a sudden. Right, score predictions, Billy.
Well, I said my head in my heart ain't matched up this week. My heart's winning over, though. I think we'll beat them 2-0. I think the crowd will carry us over the line.
And who's going to score?
Isaac will certainly score, and I think that Gordon may score as well.
Interesting.
My head says
Tony
different, I've got to say.
Well, let's not. We're not going to go with what your head says. We'll stick with that one. Tony says, "Dye your brows blonde, Paul." Not a chance in hell. I'm not stupid like Alex and make some stupid dye in his hair.
I mean, that's the Liverpool goalkeeper, but
yeah, no, I didn't say. Anyway, Alex, score prediction.
I think we win 2-1. I think that it's surprisingly the same goal scorers as what Billy said. I think Isak and Gordon. I think it just makes sense. And I reckon just for a bit of just to make it interesting, I think we'll go 1-0 up and then Henderson will equalise and we'll hate it and then we'll get the winner and Gordon will get the winner and we'll win 2-1 and it'll be amazing.
I think we have a Man United fan in, guys. Sheridan McKenzie says, how do you guys feel about Qatar buying Man United? Another state-owned club. Exciting times.
Well, yours hasn't got half the wealth as ours has, so unlucky.
Yeah, you still won't be as rich as us, Sheridan, but never mind. Nice try. Nice try.
Mank peasants.
Nice try.
As long as the Man United fans just stop abusing our club.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because it's hypocritical. But being a Mank, you'll not know what that word means,
and
Sheridan,
Man City as well. I mean, you'll have a lot of making up to do because you've trashed your own rivals plus us for a long time. So if you get state-owned, then, you know, that all goes out the window very quickly.
Or Michael Knighton can make a comeback. No, I'd be into that, wouldn't you, Paul?
Yes. I think that would be... the little juggling on the pitch. Oh, dear God. What a disaster that was.
A man bought Man United but had no money, and they allowed it to happen. And he even walked on the pitch in a Man United shirt doing ball tricks in the mid-80s.
I did not know this.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Look up the name Michael Knighton. You'll piss your pants when you read the story.
Oh God, yeah.
Didn't they have the same? They had the same thing with Sunderland a few years ago, didn't they? Got a guy who was all in the media trying to put a bid together, and it turned out he
oh yeah,
who didn't have any money.
I remember that with the beard. He had a big long beard, didn't he? He looked like he'd been Coventry. Well, it looked like he'd been. Was it?
Yeah,
it looked like he'd been travelling for 6 years or longer than that,
wasn't it? He was a normal bloke that was trying to get a consortium together.
Yeah,
even though he was like a 20 grand a year Jim Bob, just trying to get a consortium. Very weird.
But then Michael Knighton told him he was a multi-millionaire, didn't he?
Well, he went on to buy Carlisle, didn't he?
He did in the end, yeah.
Mason's football chant reckons. Football chat says he reckons that Sheridan might be John Sinclair behind that account. Well, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Score prediction for me. I'm going 1-1, guys. And I hate to say that because it's another draw, but I'm worried the way we're playing at the minute. I have to say I'm worried about the injuries. Don't shake your head at me, Alex, right? I've got to go with honesty on this channel.
I get for predicting negative score lines. Oh, that's the guy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
William Story.
William Story. I'm going 1-1. I think it'd be a really good game though. And Dan Botman's going to score for Newcastle.
What's 2-1 to us then?
No, seriously. On a serious note, I think it'll be 1-1. But I think I would love to see Anthony Gordon get the goal for Newcastle. I really would. Just because you can just see the Scousers' miserable faces when Anthony Gordon just stands there in front of them with his arms in the air and he kisses the badge.
He's going to score for Liverpool then, in your prediction?
I think Gakpo might score. I think, I think he's coming into form. I think he's one to watch on Saturday. But look, everybody knows my score predictions are always wrong, right? Completely wrong. So we will win the game, and that's why I'm predicting 1-1. But I think we'll win the game. As Irish as that sounds. But there you go. Anyway, show's coming up, guys. Tomorrow night, don't miss the show, TTR Friday. We'll be catching up with all the football news throughout the week, including all the news from St James's Park, building up to the Liverpool and, of course, the Cup Final game. So join us at 8 o'clock for that because, of course, we have the big fat football quiz at the end of the show where you guys can come on and win some prizes if you can beat the best. But it's been a struggle for the viewers lately. They haven't won many prizes in the last couple of weeks because we are just so damn good, and some of the questions are just too damn hard. But that's the way it goes. And then on Saturday, guys, join Billy from 5 p.m. With full build-up to the Newcastle Liverpool game. He'll bring you all the team news and everything. Get in with a chat for half an hour, and then full commentary from 5:30 of the game. I will try and do a reaction after the game on Saturday and get that uploaded as well. And then we'll be back on Sunday with the review. We've got a special guest coming on Monday. Billy, would you like to announce who that is? And then just let the viewers know that they can come into the chat and they can ask questions.
Yeah, we've got Greg Tomlinson, who's a board member of the Newcastle United Supporters Trust, former chairman of the said trust. Lots of stuff to talk about. Strawberry Place development, ticketing and that kind of thing. So it'll be a very interesting show to kick off Cup Final week.
It is. And we'll be doing a lot next week with the Cup Final, guys, building up to it. And then Billy will be doing a big show on Saturday, a couple of hours before kickoff to get going, because I'm sure he'll be excited just to get on screen and get the whole excitement going. And then hopefully me and Alex will tune in from Wembley Way, something like that, try and get on the show for a little while and have a bit of fun with you guys before kickoff in a week's time. So lots to come up on the channel. Great stuff. But as usual, we couldn't do without you guys. So thank you very much. But don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live, we upload and we schedule in a show. Thank you to the mods tonight. Another fantastic performance. Thank you to Doug for coming on. Thank you to Billy and Alex and all you guys out there. Absolutely superb viewing again. And thank you very much to all the new subscribers and super chatters, etc. We love you all. But we'll see you again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I will upload a video from Eddie Howe's press conference tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that as well. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
We're the lads and lasses.